pains will bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptation? Listen to me. Is there trouble everywhere? We should never be discouraged. Just take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all of our sorrow share? Listen to me. Jesus knows of every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. I say, we can have it laden, grabbing come out with a world of care. Yeah. Precious Savior is still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise and forsake you? Don't worry, children, take it to the Lord in prayer. In His arms He'll take and take it. You will find our soul is there. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pains we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptation? Listen to me. Is there trouble everywhere? We should never be discouraged. Just take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all of our sorrow share? Listen to me. Jesus knows of every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. I say, we can have it laden, grabbing come out with a world of care. Yeah. Precious Savior is still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise Jesus. I say, all our sins and our griefs to bear. What a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer. What a friend we have in Jesus. I say, all our sins and our griefs to bear. What a privilege it is to carry everything.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I shall hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land.
Gadaya, you're crying, Gadaya, because they're coming on the nation. Everybody frightened, they're running for cover. No respecter of persons, them bandit, them killer. They're raping and looting, they're killing you dead. Nobody escaping. Bullet in your head. Oh, my country overnight gets so angry on uptight. I search out the answer, and this is what I discover. Or you push the creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth, so you take him out of the school curriculum. No knowledge of God for your children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. They might have nothing in it but O's and A's and CXC, but no knowledge of the Almighty. Just because you push the Creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth, so you take him out of the school curriculum. You live in the fruits of your actions. So tell me where you're balling for, where are you crying for? Where you balling for? Where all you crying for is you who push the Creator out. Yeah. Every generation that comes is nothing more than a reproduction of the one gone before. All your double standards and your false value, they come back and catch you off guard and confusing you. What you're seeing is yourself manifesting, nothing else. Check the children's performance, then look deep in your conscience. You go see, or you push the Creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth, so you take him out of the school curriculum. The knowledge of God for your children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. They might have nothing in it but O's and A's and CXC, but no knowledge of the Almighty. Just because you push the Creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth, so you take him out of the school curriculum. You reap in the fruits of your actions. So tell me where you're balling for, where are you crying for? Where you're balling for, where are you crying for? Is you who push the Creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth. Don't condemn the children for their iniquity, because it's all you who make them and shape their mentality. What you did in secret, you're doing openly. Go run away from it. It's your own cruelty. A mango can't bear a fig, a donkey can't make a pig. You sow seeds of darkness, now you're reaping wickedness. Just because you push the Creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth, so So you take him out of the school curriculum. No knowledge of God will children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. Little girls who are photogenic, prostituting their body on the heat, the bomb and punch with pornography. Just because you push the creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You're reaping the fruits of your actions. So tell me, where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Is you who push the creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You're reaping the fruits of your actions.
My people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, that I shall hear.
Since you all asked for the song again, I'm going to give you a second time.
And will heal their land.
You're crying, Gadaya, Daya, Gadaya, because they're coming on the nation. Everybody frightened, they're running for cover. No respect of persons, them bandit, them killer. They're raping and looting, they're killing you dead. Nobody escaping, boyaka, bullet in your head. Oh my country, overnight, get so angry, on uptight. I search out the answer, and this is what I discover. Or you push the creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. No knowledge of God for your children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. They might have nothing in it but O's and A's and CXC, but no knowledge of the Almighty. Just because you push the creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You're reaping the fruits of your actions. So tell me, where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Is you who push the creator out. Yeah. Every generation that comes is nothing more than a reproduction of the one gone before. All your double standards and your false value, they come back and catch you off guard and confusing you. What you're seeing is yourself manifesting, nothing else. Check the children's performance, then look deep in your conscience. You go see, or you push the creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. No knowledge of God for your children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. They might have nothing in it but O's and A's and CXC, but no knowledge of the Almighty. Just because you push the creator out, you didn't want the name in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You're reaping the fruits of your actions. So tell me, where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Where you balling for? Where are you crying for? Is you who push the creator out. You didn't want the name in your mouth. creator out. You didn't want him in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. No knowledge of God is children. Look around you, all you have is teenage bandits. Little girls who are photogenic, prostituting their body on the heat, the bomb and punch with pornography. Just because you push the creator out, you didn't want him in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You reaping the fruits of your actions. So tell me where you're balling for, where are you crying for, where you're balling for, where are you crying for? Is you who push the creator out. You didn't want him in your mouth. So you take him out of the school curriculum. You reaping the fruits of your actions.
All right, folks, I give you the second time around. It's now time for Talking Points. 12 minutes after the 8 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. We are live via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM. We're live at the Talking Points page via YouTube, via Facebook. We are live via the Talking Points website, and we are live via We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, and they're broadcasting on 94.9. Also, broadcasting online, We Noise Radio. Look out. We open the phone lines early, but when I say early, at 8:30 I have to make a particular call because there's an issue that I want to raise. But at that time, so I'll stop taking calls at 8:30, but we're going to open the phone lines early. I think we already have a call online while saying that someone was calling. Good night. Hello. Okay, that person probably didn't want to talk online, but once you call the number, you're going to get us online, all right? 4407377. And I'm still hearing a lot of different things coming out in relation to the CPEA exams. And I'm saying there's this pattern of just doing things willy-nilly by the present administration, and we'll continue to call on them to pause. We understand what the term is, youthful exuberance. I understand the term youthful exuberance. I've worked with young people for many, many years, over 2 decades. So I understand the terms youthful exuberance. But there's a difference between youthful exuberance and just stupidity. And what I'm hearing there is a lot of pure stupidity. Because there are people that have been telling you different. I'm getting messages now from principals who are saying that they were never consulted. And I'm speaking about principals both at the primary school level and the secondary school level, because we don't expect that you would only speak to the principals at the primary school level. We don't expect that, because those principals at the primary school level, Yeah, they are sending the students, but the ones at the secondary are receiving them. So we expect to hear that you spoke to them as well. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
Good night,
Good night
Kiami.
to the Grenadian people, home and abroad. Good night, Ian in Canada. Good night. I know you're tuning already. Patricia Atta, Campbell. Good night, Patty and Matthew. And in America, the Chase family, Darlington and Sheila in Denver. Good night. And my kids. Good night. And I want, Mr. Scott, allow me please to just give some greetings, some thanks to a wonderful man that gave his whole life and dedicated all what he has in Grenada, Mr. Martin, the former commissioner of police. Mr. Martin, wherever you is, God bless you, sir, and your family. This is a man that I have a lot of respect for, and he did a wonderful job in this country all his life for the Grenada Police Force. And I personally didn't like how some of them people treat him at all. But God bless you, sir, for your service. You deserve that from me. For your service for this country. You did a lot in the Grenada Police Force. Some of them didn't like you, and some had loved you. You understand? So, Mr. Martin, take a bow wherever you is, sir. And God bless you. I love you with all my heart. And a lot of people must be grateful for what you did for them. That man give you whole life, Sheldon. For the Grenada Police Force, the police force mash up now. They mash up. God forbid. They mash up. And he give all his life for the Grenada Police Force. Anyhow, I don't go miss him. I don't must call his name one day. Some of you all in there have to call his name. None of us perfect. We make mistakes. But that man work hard. Anyhow, good night, sir. And good night to all my friends that is listening. And I want to tell all the NDCI. This is from Miss Kami. I don't see anything that the NDC government did for the year they stayed in office. I see I do nothing. And when somebody work hard for something, give them what due to them, even if they don't like them. The NDC government did a lot for this country. NDC want to take all the praise. Boy, you didn't build the road in Monkuma. Mr. Deacon Mitchell, your government did not build the road in Monkuma. They did not build them houses in Sates, the Chinese houses. They did not build those in St. David's and the hotel they put on there, and those in Busheju. And they didn't build a concrete road for nobody to walk on in Grenada. Or you are the belly, as a youth man in Ghana said, they are the belly and the guts. What all you do for us in this country? Nothing. Even the money you pay the people for back pay, you say whatever, pension money. You meet that money what the NNP government put there. You don't start to work yet. You all do nothing. And are you lying for Grenadian? I don't can lie for me because I'm living in Grenada. I am not living in America or living in Ukraine. I live in Grenada. So now you go in America and lie. Some of them people are in America are running them out. They don't do in Grenada, you know. I live in here. I come into you that Scott living in this country. So nobody and the world know that they don't start to do nothing yet. All what the president taking and continue on is under NNP government, under Dr. Keith Mitchell, Claudius Mitchell, and his team. So are you ashamed? No apology, are you ashamed? And I don't pray none of you. I don't say why you want. Write up all comments. You don't bother me because I don't read nothing. I can't read it. So I don't care what. NNP, give them what due to them. Give them what due to them. And I might get some blessing from me. Have a good night, Sheldon.
All right, Gabby, thank you so very much. Folks, 440-7377, that's the number for you to call on and get on to the insides. As I said, I'm taking your calls now. In the next 10 minutes, I'd have to branch off because there's a very important call I want to make. I want to bring somebody on to discuss a particular issue, just to provide a little clarity in relation to a particular issue. You know what we like to deal here with facts. We like to deal with correct information here. So we've got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Good night, my dear.
Let me stop my device.
Yeah.
You know what in 7 o'clock news today, tonight day?
I was on the road, so I didn't hear the news. Tell me what took place.
Well, mister, they say they're celebrating Old People Day.
Oh, month or day of the elderly? Month of the elderly?
Day of the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see Miss Senator Gloria stating that this is the people what lady the foundation for us walk in the country and without a father, without a walk, and with, oh my God, hear me, look at that. That lady so forget what going on.
But that's not the same lady take $150 away from these people.
That lady do, she shambuk bun. No, man. That lady shambuk bun. Hear me now, what, and she put your head in the air, she don't watch in the camera. She watching in the air. I said, the lady abused the old people and the lady going and walk the street. No, man, I don't know what's going on in the weed. Tell me, I don't know what's going on with us, you know, in this little Grenada here. Things what are growing and what I never experienced. If I had to see that go on in this Grenada again, I want God to take me. No, man. This Grenada come now. Things I never children for the time I grow in. I never see this thing and them going on in this Grenada. This is the worst. I hear me now. You see how the busy road going on match for the elderly. Because they know they abuse them, eh? They know they abuse them. But the thing is, people go out and they don't know what they go out for. Or they just going out for God's sake. I don't know what they do. But I'm telling you, these people and them, if I have to see these people and them come back. No, they don't come back, you know. I'm just saying that in the thing. They do have to come back. I am man calling today and saying we have to beat him out for 20 years. Election in the morning, he asking himself what's going on with we Grenadians. Trust me, go ask yourself what's going on with us. Because we waiting, shopping, waiting. I tell us already, get ready, register. And we have Mr. Victor Philip behind us. Give him his chance. And he have the potential to work with St. Patrick West. Give him his chance. Sheldon, have a blessed night.
Thank you so very much, caller. And usually I try to listen to at least the GBN news before I get here in the night time. I didn't have the opportunity to do that tonight. I got piece of it, but not the entire thing. So I did not hear that part about the elderly. And I'll say this, the caller is absolutely right. These are the same individuals that take out money from these elderly people. You know. These are the same individuals that took out money from those elderly people. Yeah? These are the same people as well that the people that take care of the elderly people that have been sending home, that have been terrorizing, that have been having these people in an unstable environment. Those caregivers and so that some of them don't know if they're coming or going. Some of them have been sent home. All sorts of nonsense has been taking place with the caregivers who knew that previously they would report and they go and they take care of whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 on a daily basis. They make sure they do a proper job. And then after the election, they've been told, no, you're working at 8 to 4. You have to be there for a specific period of time. Whether it's you have to just sit down in the person's place until that period of time or whatever. All sorts of things. Yeah? It's the same elderly people that have to face the inflation that we're seeing in Grenada with no significant measures being put in place to address the inflation and to help these elderly people. It's the same elderly people that have been seeing the increase in the NOWASA rate, the increase in the rate of electricity, Remember, the New National Party had put measures in place to reduce the cost of electricity. The NDC administration removed those, put in some measures, but it's not to the level of what the New National Party was doing. So people are still paying more for the electricity than they were paying before. So when they come and they're talking about the elderly, now they know the elderly. When the month come up and when the day for the elderly and all of this come up, they didn't know those things before. We have a caller online. Good night.
I call back Shellan. As the last caller say they call the election in the money, they will know what it is.
They should try it.
If them is mad, why did Prime Minister Dickie Michel get up for God one morning and say, okay, you call an election? They go see, they're going to see the old people voting them out, the old NDC supporters, because the same NDC people that ball in. Then that ball in, they come and they talk now, oh God. You know what I see there tonight? 3 Grenville bus go up and 3 Grenville bus. They do get a passenger to go. But some of them will not say anything because they're feeling bad. 3 of them go up empty tonight. 3. And I'm going to leave about 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them down there. We think they will get a passenger to come. Are you afraid to speak? You know why are you afraid? Are you ashamed? Things is happening in this country and you have people who have the money so they could buy the fish, they could pay the bills. But you have a lot of us in this country that cannot pay our bills. And all of you are more than any people calling them dog. Dog are you calling people, you know. We could have still go when NNP was in power and go by Mr. Dabro. Mr. Dabro, good night. And go by Mr. David. Go by Dr. Kip Mitchell and bring the light bill and you will have paid for. There is no way none of them have this thing. None of them have this. So for some people that come in and beg, a policeman come to me, an ex-police officer, he returned up and asked me for $10. I didn't have, because I know the young man very well. I know the mister. I don't have. And they coming by me, I won't lie. They coming by me. I don't have for myself. I'm struggling. Over the years, I never see what's going on in the town of St. George. You could check the amount of people when somebody passes one nickel bag, they come out in full land. And these people, they are the heart to talk about elderly people. Are you have to stop that?
Joke they making with that
was bothering me. Most of these ministers and senators, the parents make tambambal and fudge to send them to school. And they don't have belly to tell me that we cannot do the Grenadian and people that. Even the same Prime Minister, somebody buy a book for him when he goes to school. Somebody help him. Took a book and my rolling in the grave. Have a good night.
All right, Kabi. Well, let me take a hold on the calls for now. We're going to hold on the calls for now because I have to bring in someone to speak on a specific issue right now. So I'm going to take a short break while I reach that person via the phone line.
Because he has set his love upon me.
Just make sure. I should have on the line with me Mr. Gregory Bowen. Good night, sir.
Good night to you, children. Good night to the listening clientele. A very pleasant good evening to one and all.
Yes, indeed, sir. And how has your day been going? I know we had a lot of rain yesterday. I see some sun today. How has it been going?
Well, it wasn't as bad as yesterday. It was
Yeah.
okay. I had the opportunity to visit a bereaved family and also to attend the funeral of their mother. And outside that, it was, just calm and quiet, doing what I have to do. A lot of activity with respect to, getting all the rudiments of the party going and to ensure that we are well oiled.
Indeed.
So I have to say thanks to the Lord. We are on the move, as you put it.
Yes, indeed. Now, I called you specifically in relation to an activity that took place yesterday. We saw the launch of the JUMP program, as it's called. That's the program providing low-cost internet to 1,500 houses around the island. And I realize I see some people trying to give the impression that they are the ones that came up with that project and so. But I seem to remember you as Minister of Finance during the stimulus package, announcing this as part of the stimulus package. Give us a little background on that project.
Well, that is so. And you would remember that we always go out to the public, provide the information, and answer the questions put by the press. So the press did ask many questions on this. So I think we must ask our fellow citizens to recall, remember, and to decipher and to know the truth. The second stimulus package, we did package one, stimulus one, where the mainly helping the community, the working community who could not work during the COVID time. And a lot of employers put out significant sums to help people. And there was no income coming back, and a lot of them were home. And then we had to provide funds to the employers so that they could pay. Maybe not 100% in every instance, but definitely that was package one. Stimulus package two, that's where we introduce this program, as you call it, to help the young children and to help the families who couldn't afford it. And this came from a discussion with the then manager, Mr. James Pitt, of Flow at the point in time. And we were discussing, the problems faced, not only the telecommunications sector, but in the country. And the number of persons who were defaulting on paying their bills, primarily the internet component of the bills, the cell phones, and so they were going on in the more or less the usual manner. So he came up with this program whereby, and the number, if I recall, is identical, 1,500 persons to assist the students. I would recall, if you go at your home, a lot of people will see it. You'll see the young boys sitting on the steps of other persons, of other homes. And exactly, they were there with a little device trying to glean and look into, feed into the internet from those homes. And I could recall talking to parents and tell them, your internet might be locked. Maybe they don't lock it so that some of these young boys could come in. And you could cast an eye out on them. And when you see they're there 8:30 and 9, you could encourage them to go home and come back a little earlier. And they would not be too afraid to come and just sit around your door or just a little outside there to get the internet. And we devised this program, and we made it part of Stimulus Package 2, the COVID Economic Stimulus Secretariat. CIS was put in charge of it. $8.95 million came through the Caribbean Development Bank from another large regional institution. When you get funds, they put it into the bank and ask you to manage it, just as how the British government put monies into the bank, CDB, for the UK CIF. They say you have all the managerial structure and team. You manage it according to our overarching guiding rules plus your bank rules. So similarly for this program, part of the stimulus package too, we still had other components, where employers, workers could apply, and they got some money because a lot of them were out of pocket. We had a program too for the business community sector, where people could go in there and at this component get as a grant a certain sum of money. So a lot of the problems you hear now at the end, where people say, "Oh, I went for the $30,000 and I didn't get it," it was all part of this package, and the program was extended based on us. They know we are going into elections. We asked them to please to extend the program to the end of the year because we were given all the monies under a special and control program. Not us, but you had people who were looking for the needy and who were getting persons to be recipients of this. And so in the $30,000 range, that's for the small businesses, you still have some funds remaining. So we say, can you extend it? And they say yes, they'll extend it down there to the end of the year 2022. So the program with the telecommunication company, that is Flow, we looked at 1,500 persons. And we look at Flow to start the information provision in the sense that they will say, well, from this guide, you can see 2,000 persons who did not pay their bill. But that is not all. Social services should then have gone out and verify these people. It is not because in local mandate that they were just nonchalant and they could have paid and they didn't pay, and that they had people, students in the school who needed the internet service. All of those are put together. Because if you find 2,000 persons, you planning for 500, 1,500. Now, 500 of these do not have any child going to a school or going to a secondary school. They may be well below the line in terms of the cutoff sector from middle income, low income, and they're needy. But of course, because the program is targeting to help children at school, then those 1,500 people with children at school will become the beneficiaries. And those with the 500 who have no children at school, yes, they need it. But we also could look at another program for them. And I did hear from the news that he said the government component will be paid from the Universal Service Fund. That all came from us. And we did all the necessary work. For those of you who do not know, the Universal Service Fund, the USF, it is where Flow, Digicel, and another smaller company will put a certain percentage of their income every month, every quarter, or whether they do normally or do it by the year, and this fund builds up. And then you will use this to bring telecommunications services to areas where they don't have, to bring internet services to areas without it, and to beef up other areas. So it is really to be used for telecommunication. I remember one lovely program worked with the those challenged people, whether it is blind or deaf or something, that then you get the lovely little equipment that they could put their fingers on, that they could listen to something if they had hearing and not sight, and could communicate over the wires with people in general. That was funded by the Universal Service Fund. Now, government component in this hard time when they saw what we were doing, we spoke with all the three parties, and they all agreed. It would be difficult for them to say no to such a program, that the government component will be paid. And the government component came from the $50 program per household. We say, listen to
So
it.
that is the lowest cost internet that a household could have gotten at that time.
At that
was
time.
$50.
Yes,
Right.
at that time. We did not want to bring it below that. And we could just move up a little bit to say that St. Vincent had a program where the people were paying a smaller component. Our program was $50. We divided it this way. 50 for the householder. Sorry, 20 for the householder, 20 for government, 10 for Flow.
So at the end of the day, what that meant is that the households that were going to be provided with internet under that program, the household would only have to pay $20 a month to have internet service.
$20 a month. And listening to the stakeholders, and they were very correct. They say we cannot bring it down to $10. The recipient must be made responsible, and they must know that they have a stake in it. So we should not give them free, one. And two, it should not be as low as $10. It should be 20. We agreed, and we said we look into it and see how it goes, whether they can maintain it, or whether they will walk along to ensure that they will continue this for the benefit of the children in the school. So that was a program that we left there when the new administration came, and we thought it was just to be signed and so forth. I'm not blaming them, but I thought it could have been done much earlier. I don't know if at the point in time the new management in Flow decided, well, we want to relook the whole thing. But now I understand that the householder, you could correct me, the household must pay $30.
Yeah, I think it's $30 is the cost I'm hearing now. I know when it was proposed under the NNP, the cost per household ought to have been $20. It seems to me what I'm hearing now from the government now is that the cost is now $30 per household.
Yes, you have two scenarios there. If the entire cost to Flow is $30, when the entire cost to Flow in our time was $50, then we have to look carefully at the bandwidth. What are the homes getting?
Mm-hmm.
So this I was very stern about. You do not want to have such a small bandwidth that there is your child going through on the internet and you start to buffer. You know what buffer is?
Yeah.
You go turn around, you see a little circle going around, and you say wait,
Mm-hmm.
and then it bounces back on. If a child is just grasping a concept, you want to make sure that he or she is steady on the internet, grasp the concept, say, Mom, well, look at this. This is what you're saying here. Come and help me. But if you have to wait at 20 seconds and a 1 second, 1 minute, then that will be no good. So that is why we said the lowest amount we must take is what homes were presently using at that point in time, the lowest bit, and nothing under that. So if the entire package cost is $30, well, we have to find out. That would be dangerous. But if the package is the same as part of 50, and the people, the household is paying 30, I heard them say that the Universal Service Fund will pay what the government component, and that we had agreed with, and that was $20. It means then either Flow, the home will pay the rest. It's not clear there, but what we want to ask them to tell us to ensure that the bandwidth to every home is sufficient. The Ministry of Education perhaps will be able, or the IT department should be able to give them what bandwidth is needed. That's where you must start from, what is needed. And you go to the monies, and if you don't have the money to meet it, you come and tell the nation, we don't have the money to meet it. Then another company, another donor might provide and say, okay, I will make sure you get this bandwidth, the correct bandwidth, for 6 months or 1 year. And another person might chip in after. But if you don't go out and tell people what is happening, and if you're very shaky because it was started by the NNP to go out, there are a lot of individual persons, who will come and help to make sure that the bandwidth is correct. So these are the things we must monitor. So instead of helping the students, if you have a lot of buffering going on, you'll be doing more damage to them.
So the important aspect here would be what bandwidth are they receiving? Yes. Someone is saying that they heard the interview yesterday and it's at 20. I'm not disputing because I can't say for sure if it's at 20 or 30. I'm not sure. So and I'm seeing another message that's saying no, it's at 30. So I'm not sure on exactly if it's at 20 or 30. But I think the more important component here is if the bandwidth is sufficient.
Exactly. 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 And what we must know again when we buy data, the data is given in a different manner, in the sense that it sums up and it adds up to something, right? But the speed at which you go, and if you could measure this of the Wi-Fi, that is as important, very important. So that could be cleared, and I know the IT people in the government could help, in the Ministry of Education could help with that. And the management of flow, I believe, would not want to be blamed for giving home such a small bandwidth that the children cannot go. I ask you now, what is the normal, regular bandwidth to the home at this point in time? You have 150 megahertz to check it out. The cost of that is $104. You have some for 200. You have some even 300. Yes, look at it. That's what a home will get when you come to your home. The download to your home. Look at it very carefully. Compare that what a home is getting. No, I'm not saying that you will give the people the same thing, but maybe if one half, once it is sufficient for the persons, and you'll tell the parents and so forth, this is for the children alone. Get off whatever connection you have on it when your children are studying. These things will help, and I'm sure the Ministry of Education will do it, the promotion will do it. They listen to your program, children, because I know I've made certain comments on your program, and it came back to me that, this was said, and this should not be. I didn't think it would say that. I did not see that in any negative way. I said that in a manner so that people could know. And those, even your supporters then, could come back and tell you, we'll work on this. They did work on it. So I'm saying this with no negative connotation towards the administration. I'm saying it so that they can. After listening to you, and I heard a caller call you the honorable leader, because they listen to you, and you lead the program. And you correctly tell your listeners, this program, NNP, NDC, Garia, Gulf, whatever, your program is all of us program. Once you say something on it, and they listen, and they do what is right, that at least we are making a great contribution to the nation.
And to us, that's the main thing. Once they take the advice and they do the proper thing, because everyone benefits.
Exactly. So it is all well and nice, because those are some of the things that we were discussing, that I was discussing with the NTRC and with Flow. What is the bandwidth? Will the students be able to learn without any breaks, etc.? And these are all the systems that we know. At the point in time, it was $50. The bandwidth may not have been as much as we get to know. So that's one important. I would not dwell much on it again, but just let them find out what it is, compared to what a home is getting now. The home now is getting for you to download this, go on the TV, go on Netflix, go on this, go on that. Remove all of that and see what is necessary. What do the children want to know for the children to study?
And this was born out of the situation when COVID-19 struck. And you had the situation where the Ministry of Education had to provide devices for the children, but the problem was many of them had the devices and they didn't have access to the internet, which is what you were speaking about. They would go on a neighbor step, or they would go close to the community center, which might have open Wi-Fi or so, and try to get Wi-Fi. And so this was put in place so that those children, those families would be able to access internet services, so that in case anything comes up again, and even outside of that, they would be able to access, to do their homework, to do their research, and so on. They would be able to access the internet, because it's 2023. That's the way of the world right now.
Of course.
Yeah. So I thought it important, though, that people know, because you see, there are some of their people out there that are running with it as though, wow, this government came in and they've just created this program and it's a new program. that they've just created, and wow, the government has done something. But I think it's important to let people know what the genesis of this program was. That it was mentioned roughly about 2 years ago is when the work started on that particular program, and now you're seeing the fruits of it.
Exactly. And I remember speaking with the coordinator in the NTRC so that we could get it very clear. There's the rules and the regulations legally passed and gazetted concerning the use of the funds of the Universal Service Fund. Mm-hmm. And after discussing with him, and we brought on board, Flow was already on board, and we brought DataCell and the communications company, the other one.
That would be Green Dot, I think would be the other one. They're the other internet provider, Green Dot.
Well, this other provider is IS. IS, remember IS?
Oh, ILCOM. Yeah.
ILCOM?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, basically. And they also worked in other components of telecommunication. Those were the three, and we didn't have any problem with them in coming forward. They did, ask for certain things to be done, but I could never say that they were against, the program of paying government components. Because what is that? Government paid salaries of all the public servants of everything before, made every commitment to it. And we showed them what we were doing. And they were always a partner in looking at the rules and the contracts we had with the international community, that we must build a certain bill, even for them. And we paid the bill consistently and religiously. We never defaulted.
But let me ask you, as the former Minister of Finance, how, during COVID, now you had the St. George University, which was a significant component of our GDP. All the students went back. So that was gone. Tourism couldn't take place during that period of time. Even normal commerce within the island could not take place. How you were able to pay civil servants and on time? By the 27th, they could check the bank account and the money was there. How were you, as Minister of Finance, able to pay them?
But that came from since 2013, 14 in particular, when we started that self-imposed arrangement with the international community. And one component was to build a buffer, because it was made abundantly clear to us in any disaster that came out of it, right? We must be able to do something before the international community will come in. They will take some time to chip in. And while we were discussing these arrangements, so I sat there and I said, yes, hurricane, almost a hurricane or a rain or a storm. And then we looked at everything and they said, this disaster to do with the viruses and so forth and sicknesses and so on. And I sat there immediately relating in my mind and say, well, you see this virus and this sort of business, we must provide for it because we know the pandemics, they're terrorized other areas. But I was giving this such a low probability compared to the hurricanes and the other storms and so on. Lo and behold, it struck. It struck worldwide. So we had the buffer. We were building a buffer. Everything we did, while we had to reduce and bring down the debt to GDP ratio, which was critical, and we worked with the international community so that as we get things done, and remember, I always used to say, we did it, it is difficult, but it was right. It was the correct thing to do. Gone are the days, remember the IMF used to impose and so forth. When they discussed with us, and I indicated to them this will bring significant hardship to the persons, we could do it this way. And they said, well, if we do it this way, we must have the assurance that you'll do it over the time and over the period, so you build a buffer. And we did, as opposed to what is going on now. Now there is no buffer for hurricane. And that's one of the things, I'm speaking to one or two religious leaders. I have to visit one soon. And I will have to take the lead there. The post-sinner like me will have to sit with him and say, let us pray that we do not get a disaster. We do not get a disaster. No, there's no buffer, nothing. That buffer was built up. It was watched every day. As I indicated, the former Minister of Finance, I will chat with him and say, well, it didn't do as good as this month, So next month, we have to speed something up there. And everybody, I think everybody is working together. But now you can see that this jointed play between the various sectors, and I do not know how we're going to regain the buffer where they are. And those donors who are helping us, I think they're so terribly disappointed. We will not see things flowing as good.
You've got me slightly worried now, because from what you're indicating is that the methodology that was taking place under a Ministry of Finance, under yourself and under the new National Party administration, is not the methodology that we're seeing taking place now. So that if something, and we all pray that nothing happens, but if anything happens now, there is no buffer space to say that Grenada can handle themselves on their own without the need to beg outside of Grenada for assistance in the case of the return of a pandemic or a natural disaster, as a hurricane or an earthquake or so on, that we are now in a situation that if that does happen, we no longer have that buffer that existed under the new National Party. We have to go begging outside.
Well, Sheldon, we would always have asked, and we would always have received, providing that we continue to do what was right. Mm-hmm. But in this situation, no buffer. The international community will certainly look down with a frown on what has been happening. You may be able to pay civil servants, for a while. You would not be able to continue for the period of time. I remember that pandemic has a long period. Mm-hmm. Every public servant was paid and paid on time. And this helped to revive the economy. Because when you pay them and they could do something, remember, a lot of people are not working. So the little thing that's sticking, you have to make sure that it's sticking. Mm-hmm. So I too, I'm very worried. And that is why I like to hear when you ask the press to ask the question. So if the correct answers are coming from the respective persons in authority, you would say, okay, well, it is not as bad as I thought. Just a few months ago, I was saying it cannot be that bad. Knowing what was left there, confirmed by the new administration, and now we're saying there is nothing. It is mind-boggling to understand, what has happened. I'm talking about even with the paying out of the pension, even with the paying out of this. Mm-hmm. It's a serious issue in a serious state, and as the new National Party does in opposition, you look, you plan, so that when you hit the ground running. So you'll have 1, 2, 3 scenarios, 1, 2, 3 to go. I remember in 2013, the first month, when we had to pay the back pay for the government workers, mm-hmm. and nobody said it could be done. When you had to pay salaries for that month, nobody said it could be done. As a matter of fact, I know 2 very strong NDCs who met me and tell me, well, Gregory, you're done. Say, how come? They know what they left, and they tell me there's no way we could deal with what they left. But within 1 month, in fact, salaries were paid, the retroactively were paid on time, and people were there with their mouths open, and from then on, we started to roll on. So, I think if we get correct answers, the anxiety will be removed, and you might say, oh, it's not as bad as we thought. But we cannot sit and do that. All the writings are pointing towards, a significant, difficult time ahead. We hope not, because all of us are suffering. Those who brought it on, those who saw it and tried to prevent it, all of us are suffering. Let me get all of us out of the doldrum. So be it.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask a question in relation to St. George Southeast. Are you aware of any information regarding the Library Road project. I know that was a project that a lot of people were speaking about coming up to, and even during the election, they were speaking about dust and so on and so on. What's the situation with that project right now? A project that started under your leadership. Have you heard anything about where it's at right now? What is the situation with the Library Road?
Well, I passed on the Library Road yesterday, a couple weeks before. It's the most of it paved. You still have some of the concrete works to be done, and I think they may have to break down some of it and redo it better. But the dust is gone, and that's where we are. I know there are a lot of remedial work that need to be done on it, but with respect to the pavement, most of it, is paid.
Okay. You've heard anything about a timeline in relation to it? Because I know that you're not in the ministry, but you may hear from people who are in the ministry or people who you know of timelines as to, it's slated to end by the end of June or the end of July. Anything? You've heard anything or nothing at all?
No, it could end from what I see. There's a September, October. I'm talking about all more or less now, concrete works and remedial works that need to be done. The roads, they didn't keep the same width throughout, and a lot of things that they just moved to accommodate the speedy pavement, because that was the big concern from people, not knowing that when you cut on one place, it's going to show up sometime later. But be that as it may, and I thought you were getting on children to when will they be cutting the ribbon?
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking at. When would that road be officially opened? I know it's being used, but the project itself is not complete. So I was just looking at to see when would that be completed.
Anytime from now to the end of the day, if you push everything forward, like I tell you.
From what you're seeing?
I think that they would not wait too long to cut a ribbon. If you still have maybe some small minor concrete works to be done. So you might say September.
Well, I'm going to push them, since I know they listen to this program religiously every night. And I'm going to say, I hope that when they are ready to cut that ribbon, that they have the decency to at least invite you to the ceremony. Because that project was a project that you conceived and everything. I see individuals making comments about government is a continuity. Right, so since it's a continuity, they should recognize the individuals who were the genesis of particular projects. And I hope that when that project the ribbon is being cut, I'm speaking on your behalf. I hope they invite you.
Well, that's totally up to them. We would not change the price, upon the firm. And the people must know, it is not only the buffer we build the financing from. We build financing for all the projects, most of which are no share. Why? Because the debt to GDP rose during the COVID period and afterwards, as was necessary. So we brought it down to 58, percent, trying to get to 55%, and it had to go right back up, and now it continues to climb. So, but we left the money is there. We discussed with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. I remember the last visit they have here, and they said to us that's one of the best things that we did, and the policies. Now that we have sufficient debt, we must use to cause economic growth and economic activities within the country, particularly in the construction sector, and the money is there to do that. So the Library Road is not only the fact that you continue, but we left the money for you to continue. You had to find no money. We had about 4 or 5 projects that we left the monies to be done. And now we hear the money's gone. These projects are not even off the ground. Monies are halted. Yes? So looking around again, that's where the questions must come out, and they say, okay, we have the money there. We didn't touch that money in equity, so that people must be involved. People must know what is happening so that you can remove the anxiety. And with respect to them inviting me, they have not invited a lot of persons to these things. It's not my thing that I wanted the invitation, I wanted this. At least the people know where it came from. The people know where it started. They know why we were letting a lot of time, why the dust was there, why we revamped a lot of things to ensure that when you put the retaining walls, they were well placed and the people had good access, etc., etc. Because during the that period when there was a lot of dust in the area, that they capitalized and went into this system and say, oh, look at what is happening in the area, look at what is doing that, we will do this and we will do that. But you left it and you left the money. So it's a continuum, but this government should also play their part in the continuum of finding the monies and replacing it so the buffer comes back up.
Indeed. The traffic lights, I realized that the traffic lights, they've been hooked up. The work on the road itself has been done, the painting for the stop areas and the split for the traffic, everything has been put in place. The cameras are in place and so on. Have you heard anything about a start date for that? Because I realize that we're seeing things and we're not hearing anything about when they're due to start and so on. Even the Prime Minister has done several interviews this week and those questions have not been asked. Have you heard anything in relation to when is a possible start date for this project?
Well, they did indicate a start date before now. So we look at, say, perhaps December could be a start date. But they don't want to, talk about it because every time they speak, the people and also your program will go back to give the genesis of the project. And they don't like that. They want to come and open as before a very short window between completion and cutting of the ribbon so that, a lot of information is not repeated. But I think that they say that's what in the testing going on and so forth. They did say it should have been opened already. But let's give until the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they do it at least between now and the carnival period, or if otherwise they need to do it after the carnival period because it would take a little getting used to those who've never driven with the traffic lights and even those who have driven with it before. You might be coming down the road and forget everything about traffic lights and you just continue as you're doing right now. So it takes a little bit of period. And during the carnival period, when you have people who should not be, but it happens, who are inebriated and driving and so on, and those sort of things taking place, it makes it a little bit more dangerous. So I'm hoping if it's not done very soon, at least they hold off until after the carnival period with that particular project. It can be dangerous.
Yes, I agree that before the end of June, they could announce that it's already, so forth, and how, like you do in the USA, you test it at one day, and you tell people, a reminder, get back into it.
Yeah.
Get back into it, etc. But should be fully functional and operating, preferably after Carnival. Totally agreed.
And together with this, and the final thing I'd like to discuss with you here, I would like to congratulate you for the positive report from the International Monetary Fund. Many people have been giving the praise to the present administration. When the IMF report was based on your budget that you delivered in November of 2021 and the various measures that you put in place for the year 2022, because the budget is from January 1st to December 31st. So the IMF report would definitely have been based on the economic policies, etc., that have been put in place by the new National Party for the year 2022. And that is what was reviewed by the IMF when they were here. So for the positive aspects of the report, I'd like to congratulate you. The negative aspects, I realize, are mostly aligned to measures that were taken by the NDC after coming into office, like the removal of the 150. Part of the IMF report says that on the recertification of the seed program, any of those individuals and so that you take off and so, whatever savings are realized should be put back into the seed program. That's their way of saying, hey, put back the 150. So I'd like to congratulate you for the positive report from the International Monetary Fund.
Thank you very much. And you see, we kept a close relationship with the fund. And when we tell the fund this was not right, we show them how we could achieve the same goal and not have our people suffer, but we want the goal as they do. And that is what, when the IMF told on the Article 4, they meet. If people believe that they meet only with the government, they meet with the government. They meet with the opposition. They meet with the trade union. They meet with the business community. So they have a big feel of what is happening. And after meeting with the business community, if you look at the report, you'll see some of the concessions that this administration put, where they want to do things on the shipping and where they want to give this and where they want to give that. I ask the country to note the IMF comments, on these things.
Yeah, they directly told them to get rid of the tax amnesty.
Yes.
They said the tax amnesty, the government is losing significant amounts of money. I know of one government minister alone that owes over $2 million in back taxes to the government of Grenada. So they're saying the government is losing significant amounts of money, that they should do away with that tax amnesty.
And you should not have to be, told certain things. You must do the analysis and see how it affects the economy and how it affects the country and the people. Go down. Those are my points. When they sit with me, and let me tell you, they have some reputable economists that talk with these people. And they may not be past the whether they're young or whether they're middle-aged or whether they're elderly. Most of them have what it takes. And when they sit with me, and you see, most of them is the head of the mission that will talk. And you see them nod their head to things or ask a question from what I said that they did not understand. And I know that they could not refute, what was going. But they saw us going on the correct path. They saw the country moving. They saw the people benefiting. And I listened to a program, and somebody far away mentioned Grenada coming down from over 190% GDP right down to the 50s, where we were going, and it was only because of the pandemic that brought it back up. Now we have to bring it back down again. So another pandemic says they bring it back up, we have to bring it down again. So we have to operate in a specific way, taking special measures that will be least burdensome on our people, but will bring the greatest benefit to the economy and our country. And that requires capacity. That requires love for people. That requires sacrifices. That requires bringing the skills of all your people with the right attitude. You may have a brilliant person with the incorrect attitude. That's a failure. You must have a brilliant person with the right attitude.
Yes, indeed. Any final comments for the listeners and viewers tonight, Brother Bowen? We have nearly 1,000 on YouTube, and we're getting close to 400. We'll be over 400 in a while on Facebook, plus those listening via radio and those listening via the website and so on, and those listening via the neighbor system. Any final words for the listeners tonight?
Yes, I want to wish them very best. I think that they continue 2023 and not only listen, but pass on the information to persons. Give them the medium through which they can listen, and let this be the commencement of the recovery of Grenada Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I will tell you, most of you would not know about what it took in 2013 to 2014 to come out of a dismal hole. It is our duty, whether we, not all are politicians, it is our duties as citizens and those who love Grenada, because you might have non-citizens, we have some special relationship with Grenada. It is on your part too, to see that we do not get back into a hole, a much more difficult hole from which we must emerge maybe the next 2 or 3 years. So you have your part to play, and I want to commend you again, Sheldon, for making that point every night on your program. It is not your program; it is all of us' program. And whatever medium, we know we have Facebook, we have all the others, the social platforms, but we might have direct radio channels and things as well. Let us ensure that we pass the message out, and we ask you to, pray that we don't have a disaster this year. And that we ask that everybody put theirs together so that Grenada can make a U-turn in the direction to escape the direction that we are going in.
All
So
right.
thanks, and it's good to know that you're there listening. We could, particularly people in the diaspora, we pay very careful attention to some of us who use it to see. And many people in the community have come to me and said it that, oh, well, help me out now because, I have nothing to go by. But I say, remember, when you were checking, you used to get a little thing from outside and so forth. They say, but I was told if I did this, that will stop. Yes? And I say, but apparently, so if you did that, why should it stop? You did that and everything went through. And a few of them will say, well, my son, I remembered. I didn't do that. I know I'm facing the blow through it. So everybody, we all going to talk to your people. It's not whether you're NMP or NBC. Talk to your person and say, listen, there are some of us who are helping people at home, and we should not stop because of this reason. Help them. Because we in opposition, we out of office, we are doing what is necessary still to help people. And let me tell you, a lot of our people are getting up there. What you have done this one for? I say, no. We are doing it in the same small boat. The Lord will provide children if we all stay together and follow His principles.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Bowen. And it was a pleasure having you on with us tonight to provide clarity in relation and advice. And that's the main thing. It's not just providing clarity and saying, well, yes, there's an NNP project, but it is also providing advice to the powers that be that they would then be able to carry out their functions in a proper manner. And we'd like to thank you so very much for that, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And again, very pleasant night, I must all your listeners and all your viewers. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Yes, indeed, folks. We have been speaking there with, I still call him the Honorable Gregory Bowen. Yeah, former Minister of Finance, the man who leave the pregnant treasury. Yeah, that's the father. That was the father at the pregnant treasury. Somebody else claimed the child, but that was the father of the pregnant treasury. So, folks, the phone lines are once again open. And I like your all discipline, not one of you attempted to call while the Honorable Gregory Bowen was talking. I love your discipline. And we have a caller online. Good night.
Yes, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Good night, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Right. First, quickly, did you get a report from someone?
Your voice tripped off a bit there. I didn't hear what you asked.
Right. Did you get a report on Ms. Jacob?
Well, I have heard that Ms. Jacob, I was going to announce it a little later on, but I have heard that Ms. Jacob is at the General Hospital. Yes. I will endeavor to pass and see her there tomorrow. I won't go into details, but right. I have been reported to this afternoon that she is right. at the General Hospital. Somebody told me yesterday, I think it was, and I was unable to confirm, but it was confirmed for me today that she is at the General Hospital.
Right. Okay. Well, all right. So, you hear, man? That is man.
Yeah.
That's not man J-Papa. That's man. Right? We miss those gentlemen, gentle people so much. But anyway, good for the advices, good for the good dissertation that he gave us tonight. Thank you, Honorable Gregory Bowen. Brother Sheldon, I have a question, a couple questions. Number one, do you know what is the size currently of the public service?
No, right I don't have the figures in relation to the public service right now.
Right.
And when you're taking that into consideration, you have to look at the calculation of whether you're speaking of just the persons who are fully under the public service or those right. who are contracted together with them and in what capacity. So I'm not sure what the size of the public service is right now. It is something that I can find out, but I don't have those figures in front of me right now.
Okay. And do you know what is the size of the monthly wage bill for the government?
I can't remember that off the top of my head. If Honorable Bowen was on, he probably could have told me that, and probably he could send me a WhatsApp and let me know what the monthly wage bill during his time averaged. But I am not sure on what that is, because the wage bill is inclusive as well of the pensions, huh?
Of the right.
So
yes.
whatever it was under him, it would be increased now when you take into consideration, because all the persons that they've paid pensions to that were not being paid pensions before now have to be paid pension on a monthly basis. So the size of that wage bill, which is inclusive of the pension, would definitely have increased. I am not sure what it is right now. I'm not sure what it was before. Yeah, so I don't want to just call a figure and next thing somebody call and say, you lie. I'd like to find out first, yeah.
I understand. And can you remind us, what is the size of what is the name of that fund again that the NNP government, the contingency fund, it was 40%?
Again, for some reason, those figures are not in my head tonight.
Well,
it was a percentage that was placed in law. That percentage has been changed by the National Democratic Congress. I think the argument that they're using is that payments were not going into that particular fund. But from what you heard from the Honorable Gregory Bowen a short while ago, monies were being saved for a rainy day, even if it wasn't in that particular fund, but that monies were being saved. And the strange thing I find about that is that the very same persons who were the ones talking on that during the period of the NNP are the same ones coming to make the statement. No, the only thing that has been changed is the minister, but the PS and the others are the same people in the ministry. Maybe your advisor would have changed. The advisor and the minister, that's all that has changed.
You see, and I want to make a statement here, and I'll leave it.
Go ahead.
The reason why, we have so many ignorant persons, and I would permit me to say on the other side, right? It's because, and I'm warning our NNP supporters, don't go that route. Don't go down that road. That road is dangerous. Now, because NNP was in office, NBC would not want to listen to the news. They would not want to read an article that the government of the day has put out. They would not attend any programs, and I think we have all, I understand we have reasons not to, because the way they want to label persons and the way they want to treat you, and they feel that if you support the cow, that something is wrong with you, you must support the same political organization like them. So as a result of that, they would not listen to the parliament, and that's why when the budget was read, that they said, good budget, that's the best ever. Have they listened to any budget before? No. They have never listened to any financial discussion of the former administration. So I want us to be educated. I want us to take note, see what's going on, listen to what the newscasts are, even partake in some of the programs that has been put out. They're talking about the debates and so on. I started to take a position that if Pastor Stanford Simon and other pastors in Grenada could have gone out and give the support, regardless. They even wear the color. I don't wear the color of the T-shirt or the color of the party T-shirt, and so forth. All right, I have my reason, but they do it openly, But when you would have done it, they want to cut you. They want to ostracize you, brother. And I want our people to be conscious of this, that they must listen to the news, they must look at debates and discussion and etc., and educate ourselves, so then we would be in the know all wrong. So thanks so much for allowing me tonight, brother. And,
no problem.
And we look forward to tomorrow, please, Lord.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
All right. And in the caller saying tomorrow, please the Lord, I think he's referring to the program with that would be Carl Caton, Andre Donald, Mr. Francis Pierre, and so on Real FM that starts at 7 a.m. and usually goes up to just before 12, but starts at 7 a.m. Yeah, he ain't talking about talking points tomorrow. All right. And then I believe at 8 a.m. in the morning, we should have Mosquito Man on with his program. And then you'll be having that program starting with Carl Keaton and so on in the morning. And just to clarify something, when the last caller asked about the contingency fund, now you constantly hear the Ministry of Finance speaking about, oh, well, they had 40% in the contingency fund, but nothing was being placed. There was more than one contingency fund. They conveniently forget, let me say conveniently forget, to speak to that there was more than one contingency fund. That is how government was able to do all the things that they were able to do during the pandemic period. Yeah? So they just call and they say, well, okay, we're moving it because the contingency fund was 40% of the revenue. And they reduced it down to 10%. Right? But they conveniently forget to mention that there is more than one contingency fund, because of course in their pronouncements they have a particular direction they want you to think that, hey, we are the ones that are now going to put money into that. When they use out all the money from the other contingency, we are the ones that are going to put money into this and so on. So we have to understand what is taking place here. The phone lines are open, 440-7377. And for those of you out there, let me say a special good night to my friends out there in Brooklyn, those of you in Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, my wonderful listeners out there in Texas. I met one day before. Special good night to each and every one of you. Those of you in the UK who feel left out when I don't call you out, a special good night to you. Those of you regionally who tune into this, I have some friends in St. Lucia every night. They don't miss this program. We're saying a special good night to them as well. Virginia, good night to you. Patricia and Matthew out there in Canada, good night. Ian out there in Canada, good night to you as well. We've got a caller online. Good night.
Hello?
Yes, good night, caller. You're live. You're live. Go right ahead.
No, that wrong number.
No, you're live. You're live, caller. I'm hearing the program in the background. You're live.
Okay, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Good night, Mr. Greenman.
Yes, Greenman is here.
You sure you're good?
Yes, sir.
Listen, I heard Mr. Bowen speak, and I love facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give Mr. Bowen thanks for all what he put out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a man of facts, a man of evidence. So I want to say thanks to him. But I want to make a point here, Mr. Sheldon. Last night, they were speaking about the government getting all the praise and he's doing well. But my thing is, yes, he's doing well. I will put it like that. But the well he's doing is just to fire people, victimizing people, and take out the money from the ears of people. Yes, he's doing well in that area. And personally, Mr. Rulo is a man who blind, he cannot do nothing, and they take all the money from him. Yes, he's doing well in that area. So I'm saying, it's nothing else he would do, because the ears of our people jog the Bamba and the family on the team, so they can't do nothing good. How are they doing victimizing people? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir.
So, he's doing well. Suffering the people and don't listen to the people. And one day will come, he will find himself outside. So, don't worry yourself. Everything working for good. So, one love, everybody, good night, young people. Good night.
All right, my brother.
All right, bye.
And one thing, with me, I'm not too big to admit that I may be wrong with something. And many persons said, Shalon, you should not have cut off the caller last night. And let me apologize for cutting off the caller, but let me just say this as well. One of the things that I've recognized is that part of the way that the other side attempts to take away from our discussion and distract from our discussion is that they would have someone call and either attack me personally or totally off of what we're speaking about, attack the New National Party. And if I allow it, then everybody starts to attack that individual. And if we have been talking about GDB loan gets lost in the discussion and everybody starts on attacking that person. And from the moment I allow one person to attack them, I know my people. They ain't taking it so. And it's not because they any other thing but that they love their party. Don't get it wrong. I understand. They love their party and they love me. They love Dr. Mitchell. They love their MPs and so on. And they will always step forward to defend them. But if we don't control it, what would happen is that we would find that one person call, then a next, and 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 we end up in a situation where by the end of the program, what we were discussing has been forgotten. And the new topic that they have introduced, that becomes the topic of discussion for the program. In other words, they end up controlling our program by just sending one person in with their message. Now, what I did yesterday, because what the person was saying was something that was easily dealt with, is why I allowed them to speak and deal with the particular issue. But if we had started on just attacking that person and then responding to them, then they would have taken over the rest of the program. That would have been the entire discussion for the rest of the program. So again, I apologize to the caller for the manner in which I handled that. I was wrong. And one thing all you know with me, I'm a big man. I ain't one of them look at children in government there. When I do something and it's wrong, I will say it's wrong. And every Grenadian, man, woman, and child know that. If I do something that's wrong, I come out and say that I've done it and it's wrong. Right? So I have done that. It is wrong. I apologize to the caller and I apologize to all of you because many persons had a problem with the way in which I handle it. And indeed, I do agree. After reflection, yes, I do agree. All right. So I just needed to make sure that I said that during the program. All right. Another thing, I saw something coming out today and by Randall Robinson speaking to a case that he claims that Claudette Joseph won. Well, Randall had to be the biggest dummy in Dumland. Yeah, the biggest dummy in Dumland. Because there is a case that Dr. Mitchell brought against the present Attorney General, Claudette Joseph, in relation to statements she made regarding the shrimp farm project in St. Mark and Dr. Mitchell. Yeah? Now, she did not file a defense in time. And as such, Dr. Mitchell was awarded damages because she did not file a case in time. So he won that case by default, right? What she did is she went back to the courts now to get that overturned so that an actual case could take place. In other words, she didn't file her defense in time. So the court said, well, you didn't file in time. Dr. Mitchell, you are awarded that amount. That's the end of it. She filed an appeal to that judgment, what they call it again, that judgment that took place because she didn't file in time, right? She filed an appeal to that. Her appeal was successful. She has won nothing. All it means now is that she now has to go and face Dr. Mitchell in court and explain the same thing that she was saying all the time. And she better have her evidence that he was a shareholder in relation to what she say he was a shareholder in relation to. I ain't saying nothing. Next thing, doc sue me. So she better have her information in relation. No, I want to clear it up because I think a lot of people seeing this thing, because how Randall put it out, is like this was some massive victory and like Dr. Mitchell lose or something. No, Dr. Mitchell ain't lose. The case ain't happened yet. So now the case will be going to court and she better, let me just say it again, she really, the present Attorney General, Miss Claudette Joseph of Grenada, better have her evidence in relation to the statements, the lies the false statements that she made in relation to Dr. Mitchell and that particular project. Because if she don't have it, she go have to pay it. So I'm telling you, right? So now that case goes to court. And I just wanted to clear it up because I think many of you may have seen that thing that was put out by that idiot, and you probably thought that way Claudette win Dr. Mitchell in a case. No. She win the ability to go and lose now in court. That is what she win. Yeah? So the default judgment has been overturned, and now they're going to proceed with the case in court. All right? Nice. And Dr. Mitchell would not file the case unless he knows. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon, I listened that news on Channel 18 on Channel 18 this evening there, you know.
In relation to Dr. Mitchell and Claudette?
Yes.
Well, them don't even understand if they say anything different to me.
On Facebook, but I listened on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Mr. Simpson and said, look at what I'm watching. Yeah, and look at what I seen. And Mr. Philip explained it, gives me. So what the people are them taking from people's Facebook is not true. It's not true, you know.
Listen, I was laughing.
What happens to us? We like to take things and run with it, eh?
No, I'm so enamored with the fact that they are seriously infatuated with Dr. Mitchell. I don't know what it is about him that they love so much. They're infatuated with the man.
Well, I listened to Mr. How they calling, what is that lawyer name again? This lawyer talking about they have to come. I think she have to come in the court and sign something going on there.
No, what has happened is that previously she did not file her judgment in time. So once you don't, if I'm sued, I have a period of time during which I must file a defense. If I don't file that defense within that time, it may be 2 weeks, it may be 3 weeks, whatever it is. If I don't file it in that time, whoever is suing me without going to court wins by default. And therefore, I have to pay them a sum of money. Now, this is what took place with her. And she challenged the fact that a default judgment was entered against her, and she was successful in that challenge. So now she has to go and face Dr. Mitchell in court.
Yeah.
This is not the end of the matter, and she beat Dr. Mitchell or something. This idiot don't know what he's talking about.
I tell you, I watch it on Channel 18. I don't know where they get what they're saying there. You know, I watch it. And when I see it, then I call Mr. Philip and I tell him, look at what I see, you know. So then tell him, watch the news. Don't grab thing and run with it. Because when we take it and we run with it, we're not saying what we see or what we take it. If we watch news, we can't take what Mr. Robinson said and go with it, you know. Because, he's firming the nice thing and them on
he don't even know what, if he don't know what he's talking about, if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he just needs to shut up.
Well,
he doesn't need to embarrass himself like that. I don't have any respect for him as an intelligent individual anyway. So I don't expect better. So
these people are we don't easy, you know. Trust me, Sheldon. Have a blessed life.
All right, bye there. 440-7377 and 347-329-310. Folks, I want you all, and I want to take this few moments to say this as well, to make sure that you keep Miss Jacob in your prayers. I won't go into any details and so, but she is at the General Hospital from the information I received this afternoon. She is at the General Hospital. And I don't think they'll allow any pile of people to go and visit her and that sort of thing. But at least the most we can do is at least keep her in our prayers and so. And those of us that may have the opportunity to go and visit her. And I know some nurses listening. So nurses, when you pass by her, make sure and give her a little extra special care for me. Yeah, you all know I say, boy, I saw a boy, make sure. Yeah, we have a call online. Good night.
Hey, Sheldon, what's up, brother, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I don't want to call in a different capacity, you know?
No, but go ahead, man. That's no problem.
Today, my son was in Tantin. His football practice.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he left his is football boots, two of them, on a white bus going Granada. I don't know if the driver is listening or the conductor is listening, or somebody might know or hear about that. I wish that they could drop it up by Lala up in the valley.
Oh, by Lala, yeah. Lala shop.
Yeah. Lala shop in the valley for me tomorrow, please.
Yeah,
So
please.
that.
And I know that the Granans bus drivers, because I take the bus every morning, they speak with me. I know they do listen to this program. So,
that's right,
fellas, any of you, because I know this, I think bus drivers get a very, very wrong perception. These guys and them, they find something like that. They try to find the owner. They don't take it and hide it and say, well, I'm keeping that. They try to find the owner. So I know once they found it, once they are the ones that found it, they will make sure that it's done. So it was on a Grandans bus. The bus was heading to town or heading to Grandans?
Heading to Grandans.
Okay. But he forgot he forgot it on it.
Yeah, he forgot it, yeah. So that's why drop it by Lala for me, please, yeah?
No problem, my brother. He remembers the bus that he could look for it tomorrow at least?
He tell me it's a white. You don't really know the drivers, but it's just a white bus.
Okay. All right.
I guess he fall asleep on the bus.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it happens to me as well.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Thank you so very much.
Bro, yeah, nice.
All right, no problems. Yes, so drivers, if you all find that, please drop it off at Lala shop. Well, all Granada's drivers know where Lala shop is. Drop it off. And this is the thing, with Grenada, we could make that call and know that tomorrow we go find you'll get the boots by Lala. You know, we know that. Yeah, there's Grenada. Other countries, they ain't even bothering to call. People just be surprised when they come Grenada and we just call and say we forget that on that bus and get it back. Or somebody does call and say you're looking for this thing. And so, because there's an ID card that I found on a bus. I left it at Cammy's. And I'll put it up on the Talking Points Facebook page. And so, the card is expired, but the person may still want to get their card. And so, it's at Cammy. And so, it's a female. I don't have the details with me right now. I have it on I have a picture of the card, so I'll put it up on the Facebook page a little later on. All right. I think we have a caller on the WhatsApp. So let me just get the WhatsApp set up there so that we could take that call. So folks, remember to keep Miss Jacob in your prayers. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Good night.
Yes.
You're live. Go right ahead.
There's a lot I can say, but I just want to thank you for having one of the greatest Grenadian on your show tonight, Honorable Gregory Bowen, one of the greatest Grenadian patriots, one of the greatest minister ever served in Grenada government. So thank you, sir. You know quality when you see it, and Grenada knows it. Thank you, and keep on keeping on, sir. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Yes, indeed. And Mr. Gregory Bowen, all you know him, man, that man. Often you say hear Dr. Mitchell say that if he looking at a document, and other ministers as well are looking at a document, but they want a second pair of eyes to look at it, they send it to Greg. He's going to use the second pair of eyes to look at it. So you look at it and so, but you want a different perspective from somebody you trust, you could send it to Greg. And you're sure that he would come back with whatever recommendations and so on in relation to it. 440-7377. You can call us directly. You can call us via WhatsApp. Or you can call us on 347-329-3101. And people asking me, well, Sheldon, when is the next NNP hangout? Don't worry, something coming up soon. All you're going to get the information, something coming up soon, and you all will get the information in relation to that. All right? Yeah. So, no, I'm still laughing at some people were jumping up thinking that, oh, Dr. Mitchell lose. Dr. Mitchell lose no case. The case going and start now. Let it tell me a lie. Tell me I don't know. I can tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. They run on the thing, man. Yeah, Dr. Mitchell lose case and all kind of thing. Again, let me just repeat something that I said last night at the ending of last night's program. I find it a problem. And let me say good night to Long Island before Long Island people bust my head when they come down. Good night, Long Island. Good night to you all. Let me just say something. In North Korea, and we all consider North Korea to be the most extreme. In North Korea, if they accuse you of something, they bring you on national television. They bring you on national television. You have a lawyer to represent you. The state has their lawyers. They have a case. Evidence is provided. Right? And then they give a guilty or not guilty plea. They say guilty or not guilty, right? They would do that in North Korea. And we consider North Korea to be the most extreme in relation to political systems, etc. on the planet right now. Because a lot of people never hear about Eritrea. So anyway, but North Korea, right? Iraq, under Saddam Hussein, at least they would have accusation, they would have bring you in court. Under Gaddafi, and these are all extremes, they would bring you to court, you have a case and so on. If they have to execute you, you're going to be executed. If you have to be placed in jail, you'll be placed in jail, but at least you had a representation and so on. Here in Grenada, workers can be fired but just by a letter. No representation, nobody to come and speak on your behalf. And when the union attempts to play that role, the union is basically frustrated by the ruling administration. So in other words, the NDC administration in Grenada is worse than North Korea, worse than Libya under Gaddafi, and even worse than some of the most extreme you could hear in Saddam's Iraq and so on, in the way that they are operating. At least in those countries, they know pretty well they're going to execute you before your case starts, you know. But at least they gave justice should be done and should be seen to be done, but not in the case of Grenada. So you can have workers in Carriacou who could just receive a letter and say, go home. They had no case, they had no tribunal, they were not given an opportunity to file a defense, they were not even given whatever benefits they ought to receive in a circumstance like that, and up to this point in time, nothing by the administration is being done to rectify that problem. The union, from what I've heard from several of the workers, have been trying to have a meeting. Up to this day, we're coming up on a year just now, they've been trying to have a meeting with the Ministry of Labor and the PS in Carriacou to deal with this. But these guys, worse than North Korea, they didn't care. So they just executing without trial, without anything, just drag you outside and shoot you. They ain't going down that road, a trial and all kind of thing. Yeah? In these other countries, you dare not go and question the dear leader. You can go in Korea and ask the dear leader about the state of the military. You can't go and ask him about food production in the country and that kind of thing. You have to be very careful the questions you're going and ask him, because at the other end, they're the consequences of the questions that you ask. So here in Grenada, it seems as though we have a similar situation, because you can't go and ask the dear leader any questions. You can't go and ask him any questions, because it seems as though there are consequences behind those questions that you may ask. Because he will not place himself in a position to be asked questions by people like me, or even if he wants to go to Real FM and be questioned and he says, I want Andre Donald, which he's not supposed to request who he wants to ask him the questions, but Andre is a journalist, has been a journalist for many years. So if you decide that you want to, from the days of GBC, TV and radio and thing up to now, so if you've decided that you want to be questioned by somebody who is competent, who is not seen to be one of the brown nosers of a political organization and so on, and let me be careful here, I am not saying that any of the individuals, with the exception of one, can be called a brown noser of the NDC administration. I have utmost respect for Aruna. And I understand that if the Prime Minister comes to Aruna's program, there's going to be a particular line of questioning. She's not a journalist. She's not going to ask him questions about CBI and that sort of thing. So do I see some people attacking her? I don't agree. I would not attack her, because I understand the type of questions that she would ask, her audience that she's dealing with, the type of program she has. So I understand that. I understand as well the Fret program with Junior Star and so on. That is a comical program. I've been on that program myself before. I know the type of program it is. So you expect that kind of interaction on that program. You don't expect the serious questions that we would ask here to take place there. I did expect some more reaching questions from the WeFM interview because I do consider Mikey Hutchinson to be a journalist. But again, you don't expect him to go there and for them to ask him certain questions. I would ask it, but I don't expect that Mikey might ask it. All right? So I'm not upset with any of them, and I want to make that clear. I'm good with everybody. So I have no problem with any of them. All right? But I think that the Prime Minister is hiding and that he's only going to those who will toe the line and not step over to going to CBI in a serious way. So when he goes on that display on GBN on Monday, I expected that they would put a journalist to question him, not an individual who is not a journalist and who might be considered to be one of the people that is supportive of his organization, to just come and ask him some questions. Yeah? I would think that they would have been trying to be a real news organization and ask the questions, because there are questions out there. Just a couple days before he was on their program, they had a story in relation to him as a CBI agent, the same GBN, you know. Just a couple nights before, had a story in relation to the Prime Minister being a CBI agent and how that lines up with integrity. And also in relation to the GDB and the loans that ministers have received under the GDB and how that lines up with the Integrity in Public Life Act. And so that was a news story that ran on GBN. So they can't say they don't know. They definitely, and they took the documents from here on this program, and we have no problem with that because we take things from them every night. Every night we take things from them. So we have no problem. If all you want it, GBN, MTV, anybody, all you want the documents and things, feel free. Everyone, all you know to contact me. Contact me. I have no problem sending whatever we're using here to you all. That's not a problem. Yeah? I have no problem doing that. But I was surprised that when they had the opportunity to ask the man himself those questions, they didn't use the opportunity. And it seems as though all of them are afraid. So when some people talking about, oh, Grenada is so free and so open now, no. Because the media is afraid to ask certain questions. And again, I'm not referring to some of them like the Arunas and the Junior Stars and them. I understand their program. So that I take that as comic relief, and in the other instance as just a chat. Right? But when it comes to some other entities, you expect those probing questions to be asked. They're not being asked. And I'm saying that the only places I know that sort of thing takes place, because in every Caribbean island, the prime ministers, the heads of state, the heads of government, etc., make themselves available to the media from time to time for public scrutiny. Here in Grenada, the head of government is hiding, and all his ministers are hiding. Which brings me to something I saw today. There is a post I saw speaking to Senator Laco. Yeah, the failed Minister of Health. And don't ever call him just the Minister of Health. Always make sure that the word failed is before it. As a good friend of mine does call him lactogen. But the failed Minister of Health has traveled. Now, number one, we don't know where he traveled to, because this government doesn't tell you when the people go on Lime. Because they ain't going on work, it's Lime them going on Lime. So they don't tell you when the people go on Lime. But the part that was most interesting to me was it stated that his constituency office remains open so that folks can contact the constituency office and leave information. What constituency office LACO have? What constituency LACO have? I find this thing to be real comical. LACO get more licks than anybody else in the last election. More licks than anybody else. Yeah? LACO go get more beat than a bongo drum in a Nyabingi dance. And yet still, he has constituency office to serve who? For what purpose? He is not the MP for St. George Northwest, so he definitely can't be there. And is it a government office? Are they doing the seed program, etc., through a NDC office? Because you can't have a government office. So it has to be an NDC office. And therefore, and I'm saying this to all the others as well, who were not voted in. I'm hearing some kind of things about Northeast. I'm hearing some kind of things about St. Mark. I'm hearing some kind of things about Town of St. George. So I'm hearing those stories out there. And I'm saying that I'm also in St. Andrew Southeast as well. Yeah, hearing those stories and so. So I'm saying that these individuals, these senators, who could be kicked out tomorrow, they are not the MP. No seed office is supposed to be located in any office that they are running. No seed office. Yeah? No government function should be carried out from any office that they are running because they have no authority within that constituency that they lost to run any office. So I was very surprised when I saw that today with Lacrette and his constituency. What constituency office? If all you want to say the NDC party office in St. George Northwest, that is one thing. If you want to say contact him, they and so. But if seed is being run out of that office, yeah, or any other government programs like housing and so on is being run out of that office, it is wrong and it needs to stop. All right? I'm just saying that for what it is worth. All right, friends? So let me just give you all a rundown of what will be taking place tomorrow morning. From 7 a.m. going up until about 12 on 91.9, 91.5. You will be having that program with Carl Caton, Andrew Donald, Francis Pierre, etc. That is the extension. It takes place on a Friday morning. It's a pretty long program, so if you can't take the whole thing, at least you could get a piece. All right? 8 a.m. I expect Mosquito Man to be on with his program tomorrow. I missed Auntie Jenny's program today. It was on, but I didn't get an opportunity to see it. I'm getting some messages about another program that I need to watch when I get home. So going home and watch that program now. And of course, we will be back on Sunday. You're going to have the Sunday is Independent Talk. KB and Carl and so on. They're going to be on with that program on Sunday from 1 p.m. And then on Monday morning, 8 a.m., Mosquito Man, 7 a.m., you'll have Andrew Donald on his program. From 12, you'll have Mr. Francis Pierre. And from 8 p.m. on Monday night, God's willing, you will have myself on. So you have various programs to choose from. You have various mediums to choose from. You can hear us on radio, on YouTube, on WhatsApp, and so. Folks, for those of you that have not yet subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so and encourage others to watch us on YouTube and subscribe. And folks, remember as well, for those of you, because a lot of you don't want to go onto Facebook because other people might be able to see your name. So they see that it's you that posting there, you that listening and so. And you have the anonymity. You're anonymous over on YouTube. So you can go there, you can subscribe, you click the bell icon and you would get the notifications when we're coming on. Also remember, we are accepting donations to assist various individuals. The link is there on the live itself. And if you go to our Facebook page or YouTube page, you'd see the link there, the GoToFet link there. Yeah, GoToFet have a thing bad as MoneyGram and Western Union and all of them. So you could go and check that out. And you can use that to donate to the program and so. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It has been wonderful being here with you. It has also been wonderful being here with you. And somebody's mentioning the classroom. The classroom is on until Tuesday next week. Yeah, Royalty James will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. Each evening, starting from 6 p.m., you'll have Prince on with the classroom. All right, so folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. And this week, it's been wonderful interacting with you. And of course, we love each and every one of you. Don't ever think that I don't love you. I love each and every one of you. Bubbles, yeah, all of you. I love each and every one of you. I feel the love every time I go into town. You all interact. You call me out. Man, it's just amazing. All right, I could be on the bus The moment I open my mouth, somebody said, that's not Sheldon. Yes, I love it. But just remember, this program is not about me. This is our program. All right? All of us have a part to play in keeping the program and ensuring that the program continues to be the success that it is. The most feared program in the island of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Yeah, the island is one state. The state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, right? The state of Grenada, inclusive of the islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That's the correct way to say it. Nice. The most feared program on our island right now. Talking points. All because of not me, all because of you. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. And remember to keep Miss Jacob and everyone in your prayers. I am out.
What you come here for? All we want is unity and peace. Hey, in the party, we don't have to live like peace. No, no, no. All we want is unity and peace. Hey, in the party, we don't have to live like peace. No, no, no. That's right. This is our party in here. We having our time, don't stop. We everybody breaking away. Strictly